Class 4 of Chapter 3, The Marketing Environment. In this class we shall study about the economic environment. Here strategists examine the consequences of economic policy on marketing. They are less concerned with how the economy works and more concerned with the effect of it on our organizations and particularly the market. The intention in this lecture is to cover the basics, but note that not all factors are relevant to all industries and there may be other factors pertinent to specific industries that are not covered here. Planners should be able to identify the salient economic factors that might affect the travel and tourism industry, predict the probable consequences and suggest appropriate marketing action to exploit opportunities and minimize threats. The effect of income on spending. National income. Although it is possible to measure how much a nation earns, its gross domestic product, GDP, marketers are more likely to be concerned with what this means at the consumer level. The following concepts are more important therefore in ascertaining this. Per capita income, this is how much an individual earns on average. As such, it is a broad indicator of the earnings of a nation. As tourism in particular is a luxury product, it tends to be the wealthier nations and individuals that buy these products. Income distribution, this is just as important as per capita income, as it describes how the nation's income is split amongst its individuals. In all countries, some individuals earn more than others. The extent of these differences can be shown by distribution statistics often published by government statistical services. Disposable income, this is the amount of money a person has left after tax, national insurance and pensions. Clearly this reduces the amount of money an individual has to spend. Discretionary income, this is the money an individual, or household, has to spend after the essentials of life, such as rent, power and basic foods have been paid for. It represents how much people have to spend on luxuries and so is an important concept for tourism products. Household income and expenditure, whilst the above concepts are easily envisaged for an individual, many purchases are done for and on behalf of a household, typically parents and children. With an increase in the number of households in which both adults work, there has been a corresponding increase in the amount of income a household has available to spend. This is compounded by essential expenditure being shed, thereby disproportionately increasing discretionary income. Superimposed on top of this, is a class phenomenon where, for instance, professionals, social group A, form households. Typically individual professionals marry or cohabit and thereby create a household income that benefits from too high earnings. This generates the possibility of even greater expenditure, heightening the income distribution effect. Business expenditure, it is usual to regard travel and tourism as a consumer product, but this is an incomplete view. There are also high levels of business travel for sales, conferences and exhibitions. Some organizations may therefore need some indicator of business income and expenditure. Some governments publish such information but it is less easy to find and use. Other factors affecting spending. Apart from income, other factors that should be considered. Credit availability, buying items with high prices may be influenced by the availability of credit. In Kenya recently, the number of lending agencies and the ability of retailers to offer credit has increased dramatically. It would not be unusual now to apply to one's bank, say for a loan for a holiday. The increase or withdrawal of credit availability might affect tourism products. Propensity to save, this refers to a nation's attitude to spending. Even with high discretionary incomes, people do not have to spend. For many years the British were quite cautious and tended to save, but lately there seems to be a trend to spending rather than saving. Confidence levels, the trend to spending might be influenced by a consumer's view of the future. If redundancies are increasing, individuals may choose to save, and vice versa. Industry is similarly influenced by confidence. With a buoyant future, commerce might be tempted to expand overseas, with a commensurate increase in business travel. Inflation affects the value of a nation's currency. Whilst in a high inflation economy the effects of a depreciating currency are not immediately felt on purchased within its national boundaries, when its citizens travel overseas they do feel the effect. Their money buys less, acting as a disincentive to travel. Interest rates, whilst the availability of credit is one issue, the cost of it is another. High interest rates mean expensive borrowing for both the consumer and the supplier and act as a disincentive to borrow. Exchange rates. Marketers must pay attention to the relative strengths of currencies, which make visiting some countries more expensive, others less. Of crucial importance in this for travel amongst member countries of the EU is the European Monetary Union, EMU, which could obviate this problem. Demographics can be defined as the study of populations in terms of their size and characteristics, Palmer and Hartley, 1996. This and other such definitions are then usually followed by a list included in characteristics - different authors including different items. Whilst the major impact of demographic is on the market, planners should remember the effect of the demographic environment, and other external factor, on internal corporate resources as well. For instance, if a company relies on young workers and these are in decline due to falling birth rates, what will it do in the future to provide its service? There are several major demographic variables to consider. Population size. This indicates the basic size of our markets. Contrast West Germany with about 60 million and Denmark with only 5 million. There are also trends in population change. Scandinavian countries, the population size is actually falling. Age distribution. This describes the number of people in particular age bands. In the West, with the children of the post-war baby boom now in their 50s and increasing number of people surviving to old age, there is an aging population. This might provide tourism companies with expanded markets, as the grey market might be prone to travel. They may well require a different product. Sex. Many products are segmented on the basis of sex. In travel and tourism, it might be possible to provide different holidays on this basis, for example separate holidays for boys and girls. Family size. This is another changing demographic factor. Typically in the West, average family size has been decreasing, which might lead to a market for more ambitious holidays for smaller family units. One significant effect on family size is the growing rate of divorce. Population location. This informs planners about where a population lives. Some parts of the UK, for instance, are more affluent than others, hence markets need align their strategies accordingly. Leisure time. This refers to the amount of holiday given to employees by organizations and also to the length of the working week. This has a major impact on tourism products. Annual holidays in the UK have increased from under 2 weeks in 1960 to over 3 in 1990. Similarly, the length of the working week has decreased, with countries, such as Holland, France, and Germany enacting laws to discourage longer working weeks. Education. This is measured in marketing by terminal education age. The percentage of the population reaching particular exit ages form a nation's education system, and may well affect holiday choice. A more educated population may well be more prepared to travel to more unusual destinations. One of the key abilities for those involved in marketing in travel and tourism is to monitor and predict the industry's changing environment. Without this, strategic and operational plans may tend to be production-oriented, miss opportunities and fall prey to threats. In order to make sense of complex environments, models have been put forward to suggest what to monitor. Such models may be inadequate for the needs of a particular organization, and a model specific to the organization in question should be developed. Predicting the future environment is an understandably daunting task. This can be simplified by concentrating on a few highly important variables. Where accurate prediction is not possible, an alternative scenario approach can be taken and is possible more appropriate than one which is deterministic.